Okay, so tonight we are talking about how to battle objections. So this is going to be an open forum call, and I want a little bit of everybody's feedback on how they battle objections, because sometimes hearing it one way really just helps you hear it by hearing somebody say something different. So I wanted to get other perspectives. So you guys that are on live, make sure you use the chat if you think of anything or anything comes to mind. I'm going to go through what I posted today in the group. And then Kate Bradley said, the biggest objection I get is just shutting down when they see the price. They don't come out and say it's the cost, but that's what turns them off. And so then I had her, I'm going to share my screen. I had her send me some screenshots, because if I ever have a coach that says that, I want to say, okay, well, let me see what you're doing so I can see if maybe it was something you said or what. So can you see my Facebook page right now? Okay, if I click on this photo, can you see it?
Yeah.
Photo big? Okay. All right. So she's talking to this girl and she says, yeah, so do they give you like workout CDs? What's the pricing on it? She said you get DVDs, but you can also access them online with their on-demand. I do it on the Roku, but you can use your computer, phone, da-da-da-da. For the whole program to get started, it's $160, which includes your DVDs plus a free bonus one for signing up with the coach, your color-coded containers, meal plan, 1 month supply of Shakeology in a shaker cup. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee on everything too, even the shakes. That includes a 30-day free trial of the Beachbody On Demand. And then she said, after the 30 days, it's $250 a month, billed quarterly. I think she meant week. It's worth it for me. I hate messing around with the DVD player. Okay, let me think about it. You would make an awesome coach too. Coaches get 25% off all future orders. Then you can make commission off sales. All I do is post on social media about it and share my results. I sell enough to get my shakes for free. Da-da-da. Okay, so I'm going to tell my thoughts on that, and then I want you guys to share yours too. So what I would say is that was too much at once. She was not even really sold on the challenge pack. And then you're like, and you could be a coach. So that right there would be a little too overwhelming, and not saying that as anything bad to Kate, because we've all been there. And what I would do is say a little less at first and make sure that you've talked about her goals, because she's like asking about the DVDs, like, what is it? I would say something like, it's 30-minute workouts. They're boot camp style, like high intensity interval training. I love them. I sweat my butt off. What's your favorite type of workout? And then, do you think you could handle 30-minute workouts from home? I love it. If she's a mom, it's great for during nap time, or it's great for during my busy lifestyle. So I would just ask her a little bit more about that and talk to her about that to get her excited about the program first. And then say, okay, now do you think that you struggle with portion control? Is that something that you struggle with? Or, is the fitness side, is the nutrition side also something you struggle with? And then kind of talk up why the portion control is really awesome, why the meal plan has been a game changer. What the world? Siri comes up all the time, and she is listening to my conversations. So weird. Sorry. And so that's what I do. And then I try to do a lot of asking questions, and not just like, this is what you get. I try to break it up and do questions. And do you think you could handle 30-minute workouts from home? What's your favorite workout? So getting them involved. So what would you guys say after reading that? If that was one of your coaches sending you that, what would your tip be to something to do differently?
I would say,
oh,
who was
sorry.
that? Go ahead, Danielle.
I kind of forgot some of all that was there. So I was going to say, can I see it again?
It's in the Run Pink group.
Okay. I wasn't sure where it was.
I'll tag you in it. So Sarah, what would you say?
This used to happen to me a lot at first when I first started talking to people, whatever, and I would just get super, super, super excited and just really just vomit everything. And I would just give them everything in one snippet. And I totally lost people. I mean, not that those people haven't come back over time, but I would say break it down, slow down, and get, cross that bridge when you get there kind of thing. Like, they know you're a coach, so they know that that's probably an option for them too. So like, just slow it down and like take it where, like, little by little. And like, you could talk like about, I mean, most people, okay, I won't say most people, but a lot of people have taken classes at a gym. And you could ask them, like, have they ever taken classes? What kind of classes, did they like when they did that? Or like, do they prefer, if they were to walk into a gym, would they gravitate towards the weights or would they go towards the treadmills? And kind of just ask like prodding questions like that. And I always talk about what they struggle with more, nutrition or fitness. Usually it's nutrition that people will say it's nutrition. And usually people say, I ask, is it what to eat or how much of that to eat? And I kind of go from there. There's naked people.
All I see is like this. And I'm like, are you hiding your naked self? What's happening over there? It's obviously what my mind originally thinks. But yeah, I could not agree more with that. It's just a lot of times it's too much at once. And that's such a big thing that new coaches do. We all have done it. So thinking about questions that you often use. So my one-liners, and I love to end everything with a question that I say is, do you think you could handle 30-minute workouts from home? Do you think that you struggle with portion control? Is fitness or nutrition your biggest struggle? Things like that. So, and then like Sarah said, like, all right, what's your favorite type of workout? Or if people are like, I don't really like exercising, what's the workout that you hate the least? Like just, being funny about it and things like that. So what I would do too is don't bring up the coaching to somebody that's not convinced even on the challenge pack. And also if they tell you like motivation is their struggle, talk up the accountability group. Like that's when people are like, I just don't know if I could do it. Like, well, have you ever been in an accountability group that people post their breakfast, lunch, and dinner and sweaty selfies, and we share recipes and we talk about, oh my gosh, I said no to pizza in the break room today. So I use specific examples when people are really struggling with motivation or self-confidence, and then I talk about the other people in the group that are just like them struggling and sharing their journey.
Another thing that I just reread it, she like led with the price. So I normally I either put it at the very end or I don't include it at all and I make them ask again. Mm-hmm. And then I try and sell them on it, because if money was the issue for her, as soon as she opened that message and saw the price, she was probably already shut down. So it didn't matter what else she said. She was already past the price. So that's something I've tried to not do, and I seem to get people hooked on it more. So now I'm getting more of the responses of, well, let me see what I can pinch together, or let me see if I can talk my husband into it, versus that's just too much right now, because they're excited about it.
Yeah.
And if somebody posts on your post, like, how much does it cost? I say, I'll message you. And if they ask, like, what is it or whatever, and like, I'm just like, hey girl, I saw your comment. How the heck are you? I saw you guys went to the zoo last weekend. How was it? I'm going to talk about something else and get their mind off the price. And then I'm going to say that I'm just going to be like talking like, so I saw your comment. Like, tell me, what are your goals? What's kind of making you think about wanting to do this? And then, okay, cool. Those are awesome goals. What's your biggest struggle? Is it the fitness side or the nutrition side? Mm-hmm. If they say fitness because they're so busy because of their kids, ask about their kids. If they say nutrition because their job is so hectic, ask about their job. So making sure you're asking those personal questions and not just trying to go to the next question in the script. But I literally ignore people. And if they even say, depends, what's the price? I said, well, there's a couple different options. So do you mind if I just ask you a couple questions and we can figure out the best thing for you? Because there's no right workout and program for every person. And people are like, okay. So just try to get off of that price and talk to them about how it's going to help them and their goals that you asked them about, versus just like, this is how much it is. Because they're going to be like, nah, I'm good.
Also, a lot of people ask, oh yeah, if you could just shoot me over some information about it. And I never send a link. Sending a link is like the absolute last thing I do. And like Danielle said, I like make people practically beg for a link. Like, be like, well, how do I do it? How do I sign up? Because I want to talk them through it and kind of, I want to hold them on the line for as long as humanly possible so that they are telling me every single thing that is on their mind, because once they get that link, it's dead. So it's either they're going to do it or they're going to see it right off, and you don't even get to have that conversation once they see the link and see all of that. So save your link for the very, very last moment ever.
Yeah, they need to be telling you, they need to know the price, and they need to know that exactly what's expected of them. And then they're like, okay, how do I do this? Like, I don't even send the link until I know what Shakeology flavor they want. Mm-hmm. So, you know, make sure that you're going through that whole process. The other thing is when people say, can I just have some information? I say, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. And you know what? To have to be honest, the website is a little overwhelming. So let me just ask you some questions, and then I can best figure out what exactly you want the information for. Because I tell people that if they go to the website, they're going to be like, I don't know. Like, our website kind of sucks, especially if you're on mobile. It's not super user friendly. So they're not going to even know what they're doing. So I'm honest with people. I say, honestly, our website is a little overwhelming, especially mobile. It's not super mobile friendly. So let me talk to you about what your goals are, and I can give you at least a couple options to look at so that you know what's best for you versus looking at all of them, because we probably have over 100 programs to choose from. So that way you're doing them a favor and saving them time.
Can I add on that the challenge pack and all the programs? I was just talking to my coach Ashley last night, and she was getting so overwhelmed because the BB Links app gives you all the challenge pack that Beachbody has, and she was trying to memorize all of them. So that's, I told her, like, do not try and learn every program that we have. Like, know the basics, know the 21-day fix, know hammer and chisel, you know, the ones that are common. But, and if there's other new coaches that are like have felt overwhelmed, you do not need to know them all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, not at all. And I had a girl sign on today as a coach. She's like, I feel like I need to try all of the programs before I'm a coach. And I'm like, girl, I haven't even tried all the programs. Like, I'll tell you the most popular ones. And, you know, you go by what's on special, and then you go by your favorites. And I tell people very honestly, 21-day fix, 21-day fix extreme, and hammer and chisel are my three favorites. I personally wasn't crazy about 22-minute hardcore, but I do have a few people that absolutely love it. What I wasn't crazy about it was a little too cardio focused and not enough weight focused. So that for me was why. But if you are liking the little mix of all, that might be a great program for you. So I'm very honest, and I'm like, that's why it's so great that we have so many programs to choose from. So that's why I want to ask them what kind of programs they like, so that I can get the best for them. But honestly, yeah, like Debbie said, most of hers besides Fiverr, 21-day fix. If their goal is weight loss, nutrition is everything. 22-minute hardcore is not going to solve their problems, even if they love the workouts, because their nutrition is not going to be on task. So if they have big goals of losing weight, I'm not going to say, you should try PiYo. Even if they love Pilates and yoga, it's not going to work unless they have the containers. So I said, well, you can either do PiYo, but you're going to need the containers, or you can do 21-day fix first to start. It'll be about $20 cheaper, because PiYo and 21-day fix are $160. They'd have to spend another $20-some for the containers, where they could just start with 21-day fix and get a sample workout of PiYo on Beachbody On Demand for that first month, and then decide what program they want to advance to. So that's kind of how I break it down. And the cool thing is, you start off with 21-day fix. That's the meal plan. That's going to change everything for you. You get 30 days access, and you can try every single workout that Beachbody has and figure out what you want to do next. All right, so let me see what else we got.
Yeah, I always, 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 always suggest 21 Day Fix because I just think that it's the best foundation for building on whatever their goals are. So I feel like everyone should start there. That's why I feel like I always sell 21 Day Fix challenge packs.
All right. I'd love for you guys to hear how you battle the money objection, because you've heard me talk about it till I'm blue in the face. So what are some of the ways if somebody's like, oh, I just don't have the money? What are your go-to responses?
I talk about how when I was working full-time, out of the house, I was spending $5.27 a day on Dunkin' Donuts every single morning. And when you break that down over the course of time, it ends up being a ridiculous amount of money a week, like $35, $40 a week. And that's only if I go only once. And that adds up so much. And when I actually stopped working out of the house, Zach said, how do we have like more money now working on less of an income? And it was because I wasn't spending all of that money, probably not including eating out at lunch, probably like $75 to $100 a week on food. And like, it's all of those little expenses that add up. And that's where I always say to people, like, are you going out and getting coffee? Are you, eating at Chipotle? That's $21 for two people to eat right there. And I literally have them walk through their habits and be like, where is your money going? Because, are you shopping the Alex and Ani sale? Because that's where I just was. Honest moment. But yeah, like you talk about what their vices are. Where's their money going? Can you skip that pedicure every 2 weeks? And there you go. So it's kind of like, you just kind of have to really level with people. But Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks, that's a huge one because that's mindless. People just swipe and don't even think about it. And it's $5+ every time.
Anybody else have any other ways that they combat objection? Or I don't even know if I said that right. I was reading at the same time. Sorry. I was reading the chat. The other thing I do is I will talk about my meal planning, because for me, I would just go to Harris Teeter, which is it's a expensive grocery store, but it's literally like half a mile from my house. You can, no matter what you get, if you get 4 things, it's $60 every time, no matter what. And that's just the way it is. And it's so annoying because I used to do that all the time. And then I'd go for 2 things. And I'm like, well, I'll just do my grocery shopping. And it'd be like $200 every week. There's 2 of us. There's no way I need to be spending $800 a month. No, it wasn't that much, but it was ridiculous how much money I was spending because I wasn't planning meals and I wasn't shopping sales. So now what I tell people is, I honestly, when I started doing it and I started focusing, the first month I saved $200 in my grocery bill. So what I did was I went through my cupboard and my freezer and my fridge and my pantry, and I looked at everything I had and I made meals for the week from what I had. And then I just made a shopping list for the things that I needed to make those. And then what I do is I only buy the things that I need for those meals. Plus from that, I get lunch meat, bread, and then snacks and fruit. And like not a ton of snacks. He gets like 2 snacks a week. He's like my child. And he gets Cheez-Its and granola bars. That's what he likes. So I keep it very simple, and I will switch up the dinners, and then we can have it for lunch the next day, or he can have his like lunch meat, or we can do something else that I have in the pantry or something. So that has saved so much money right then, and I make it a point to always make a little extra for dinner, and then it's my lunch the next day. And then Shakeology has, if you have it, I used to have it for lunch for a really long time, and that saves a ton of money if you do it for lunch, because you used to be having chicken, broccoli, this, that, the other thing, and then that's not something you need to be buying as much of. So that's what I tell people all the time is you're replacing a meal. And if you can at least replace lunch sometimes and not always breakfast, because breakfast is usually your cheaper meal, you're going to save more money by doing it that way too. But yeah, and then I talk to people about shopping at Aldi's, and Aldi's is getting really great at having more organic produce and organic options and things like that. So I talk to them about that. Like it's crazy. The avocado, like I think you can get for like less than $1, and then at Harris Teeter, the avocado is like $1.50 or something, $1.60. It's crazy the difference if you actually go and look at that. And so that's made a big difference too. So I make individual things about how I meal plan and things like that for price. Debbie says, I always break it down into a weekly expense instead of a daily expense because people go grocery shopping weekly. Usually $25 a week is nothing to add on to groceries. Is that what it comes out to then? $25 a week for, you mean the Shaco?
Yeah, that's how I break it down, just because that's my cost is like the $99 or whatever. So you divide that by the 4 weeks, and because I go grocery shopping every week. But I also kind of lay it out like I tell them, okay, what's the worst case scenario is that, you know, you pay the $140, you hate Shakeology so much that you have to return it minus the shipping cost. So the worst case scenario is that you pay like whatever the shipping cost is, like $5, whatever, for 30 free meals. And usually people are like, oh yeah, like really, you know? So it's like, because I know once they get it, they're gonna love it and they're not gonna return it. I think I've had like maybe two returns ever. But when they look at it that way, they're like, yeah, I'll, you know, take the risk on, you know, paying $9. I think I don't know how much shipping is, but I always say like $5 to $7. So people are willing to take that risk because you know that, you know, they're going to love it once they get it. So I'll say that. And also, like I said, I'll break it down into the weekly expense. And I always tell them, you know, I know it may seem like a lot because it's an upfront cost, but you're really not spending anything extra. You're just replacing what you're already spending with something else. Mm-hmm. And usually when I say that, people come around. But, you know, and also finding out in advance what they normally spend on food. I mean, I'm not like, oh, hey, like, you know, what do you spend a week on groceries? But like, I'll kind of ask them like what they're eating and this and that, you know, what they have for breakfast. And if they tell me, oh, I go to Starbucks, you know, every day or whatever, like, then I know they can afford it. And then I can battle the objection before I actually get it, kind of thing.
And then Taryn said that she likes to talk about replacing their gym membership. And that's a good one. And then sometimes you'll get people that are like, well, I only pay $10 a month for Planet Fitness. And I'm like, okay, and how are your results? You know, how's that working out for you? And they're like, well, I don't really go. Or I'm like, yeah, because it's $10. You don't care if you go or not. Like, I am very honest. I'm like, look, I'm going to tell you something because I wasted $10 a month and never got results for 2 years. And I really did. I had a Planet Fitness for like 2 years before Beachbody, and I didn't use it, and I didn't, you know, here and there. And I was just like, I'll do the elliptical and read this, or I'll be on my bike and study my homework, or, you know, so I'm very honest, like, okay, and what results have you seen since you've been using that $10 a month gym membership? Or how often do you go? Well, I really can't because it's out across town. I have to find childcare. Okay, well, would 30-minute workouts from home during nap time work better? You know, and I like to break it down too that, like, I used to have to pack another set of clothes, pack my bag, pack my shoes. Half the time I forgot a sports bra or one of my freaking left shoes. And then I'd have to like pack, I can't tell you how many times I forgot a shoe to the gym. It was like the worst ever. And then I'd have to pack an extra meal because I've been gone for so long that I had to make sure I ate, or else I would pass out at the gym. And then by the time I get home, it's 8:30 at night and I have to make dinner and like watch one TV show and go to bed. So I love to talk about that too, because from personal experience, I either would go at 5:30 in the morning or right after work. And it was just, when you work an 8.5-hour day and you have to drive an hour each way and then you add the gym on, like, life sucks. So you don't want that.
When I talk about the gym too, I call it spinning the hamster wheel, because you go and go and go and go and you're really not going anywhere. And most people will spend, time, they'll either do cardio, which I feel like is what people go to, or you'll find them on that hip abductor machine. That's like where everybody goes to. It's like, what are you doing there? But that's like I'm just going to sit and do this. And like, what's really sad is that I was going a couple months back with Zach and lifting, and what's sad is that you see mostly females, but walking around the gym, like, using the machines wrong. And it's kind of like bad gym etiquette to like walk up to someone and be like, that's not how it's done. But I used to be that person. So I would like just be like, oh, this thing's broken. And I would be like, like, there's a million of those gym memes, like the people in the machines all wrong. But that is like what people misuse things and can hurt themselves. And there's no one in a gym correcting you or, whatever, or instructing you. So I kind of just use that and tie it back to my own experience. Yeah, the vajayjay machine. It's just sit there and you're texting and so yeah, I just ask people what they do at the gym, honestly, and kind of go from there, because it's sad. If you watch people in the gym, it's a sad thing.
It's not always girls too. I'll see guys and I want to be like, excuse me, that's totally wrong. What muscle group do you think you're working there? Because that's not the right one. But yeah, I actually just canceled my gym membership because I have not been in that gym for probably a year. But I was like, sometimes I just really love the Stairmaster. So one day I'm just going to get an extra workout and go. I haven't gone in a year because I don't have time for that. And 30 minutes of workout is fine for me. So for me, I was like, I'm paying $20 a month. This is so dumb. And I absolutely love my gym, but I would rather cancel that and think about it. If I'm using it, even if I went once a month, is it worth $20 to use a one-time pass for that? No. So yeah, and I get a lot of people that are still gym rats, and that's okay. I was a gym rat when I first started. I was still successful. But I feel like as you grow and, as you become more and more, successful in your business, you also want to show people like, I do this. This is what I do. This is how I get results. Not make them feel like they have to do that and go to the gym too. Tanner used to do CrossFit, and, her business really changed when she started committing to home workouts too. And if something's not for you, then change it up. I was telling Samantha Owen, I was talking to her because she's like, I started going to the gym again with my husband. And I'm like, well, what was wrong with your routine before? And she was like, I just take a 20-minute fix. And I'm like, girl, get a new program then. There's like 1,700 out there. And she did, and she loved hammer and chisel. So, you can still do both. And but I can't tell you, it was like apples and oranges when I started really committing to home workouts totally. All right. I think Kate posted something else. Do you guys have, Sarah, you said something earlier. You said you talked about not knowing how to find new people.
Yeah. One of my coaches had asked that, where to open up, it's funny because I think that once you look at your warm market and you think you've talked to everyone, and then if you go back and re-look at your warm market or the people that are on your friends list, you realize that you haven't talked to probably like 1,000 people. But so she was asking where to find new people. I said the same things at Instagram, but I really am a big believer in people going through your people you may know. Obviously when you're going through it, always look to see if you have mutual coach friends in common, because I don't like to poach other people's friends list. But I go through my people I might know, and I found a lot of people there. Taryn, who's on the call, she was one of my husband's friends on Facebook. I did that. I went through my husband's friends on Facebook. And
I remember we would be like on like power hours and you'd be like, I'm adding Zach.
Zach is so mad about it because he'd be like, how do you know these people? And I'll be like, oh, they look like I want to be friends with them. And I have like social media best friends that it's like that meme. Like you have social media best friends who don't know that you guys are best friends, but you are because you have so much in common and whatever. And not all of them end up being clients or whatever, but some of them I have amazing conversations with, or I'll shoot them a message and they'll be like, I really needed that today and thank you. And it doesn't always turn into that, but I friggin' love people. And so the more I could talk to new people and stuff, and I love it.
Same. And that's where you get that quality followers that they want to know what you're saying. They want to check in, like, what does Sarah have to say today? And those are the people that are going to be your lifers. And even if they're not clients now, they will probably end up being because they just really enjoy what you're putting out. Debbie said she really likes Facebook groups, like mom groups, yard sale groups. A lot of times if I ever put anything on yard sale, I'll just go through my closets, put everything in a garbage bag and be like, whole bag, $15 or something like that. Just to kind of, honestly, to find more people. And if they comment on it, I friend them because I'm like, oh, it's easier to PM you. And I've sold like 3 challenge packs just from doing that with people, even if they weren't even the person that bought it, or if I was somebody that they were selling that I commented on something or whatever, because if they're on a yard sale site, they like buying stuff. So
yeah, and I will always like go at it. Don't think that, okay, this is someone that I'm going to sell something to. Like always think of it as like a new friend. Like that's literally, when I start having conversations with people, it's always like, what can we talk about that like I don't want to go into it. It's uncomfortable. Like you're talking to people about the weather and it's just whatever, but like you make a good friend and it's fun and it's more people,
Yeah, and when you find somebody in a group or something that you have in common with, like for me, it's so easy to talk to somebody that I meet off a German Shepherd group because we just have that bond already. If you're a mom, you can easily talk about that. So looking into groups that fit your niche and things like that, I joined a rosacea group, just talking to people about that. What did I do? Oh, I found this really awesome foundation and moisturizer. And it's taken me literally like 27 years to find something that I finally found and loved last year. And how old am I? 2 years ago. And then I shared that in the group and people are like, oh my gosh, thank you. Da, da, da. And I'm like, yeah, and so I conversated with them there too. So it can be something so simple. And if you're in a group, you can ask a question that you know the answer to just to start conversations too. Like my favorite in a holistic group, my favorite use for coconut oil is for my face makeup remover and for melting it on my dog's food for his skin and coat. But I'm curious what your favorite way to use coconut oil is. It doesn't really matter if you're dying to know the answer or not. That's a great way to start conversations with people. Okay, I have another one from Kate that I'm just going to share the screen because it's just another great example. Oh, there's my blog people fighting back and forth. Apparently one told the other they're getting a lawyer involved. I'm like, I can't even deal with this right now. Okay. All right, so somebody just messaged her and she said, hey, where do you get those color-coded containers? And she said, they came with the 21-day fix program. It comes with the workout DVDs and containers and all the instruction. Okay, now I need to get my DVD player. Thank you for the info. So my first thing that I would have said is, oh my gosh, aren't they so cute? I love them. They've been such a game changer for me. What interests you in them? So asking a question and like not being like, this is how you get it. Go to Amazon, bye. Because I did that with somebody last week on Instagram and they didn't have Facebook and I was like annoyed and I kept forgetting to check my Instagram and she messaged me and she found my email and emailed me. She's like, oh my gosh, thanks for the suggestion. I just bought Pio off Amazon. And I was like, oh. So I don't want to name drop. I want to ask you questions and figure out what your goals are and your struggles are. So that would have been my first thing was, oh my gosh, aren't they so cute? I love them. They've been such a game changer for me. What interests you in them? Or what makes you, interested in trying them? And then that's where that conversation would go from there. And then she said, my first order of business is time management and a good sleep schedule. I need to start taking care of me. And then Kate had a good response, you know, taking a little bit of time for you is great. And then she gave her some tips. So that was really good. That was really good. But yeah, that's what I would do, is just turn that into a question instead of, it's for the 21-day fix. Let me know if you want to order it, because that'll be helpful. So I think that's all I had from cost is the biggest rejection, even from people who have tried and love Shakeology. So we covered that. I get some people who will say yes, and when I follow up, they ignore my messages. And I don't even say anything about Beachbody. I simply ask how they are, their week, their weekend has been. I would say that just doesn't work. If you're like, hey girl, how was your weekend? I try that all the time. And they're like, this chick wants to sell me her 21-day fix, and she's just wondering why I haven't bought it yet. So I would go and look at that person's profile and see what they did or something specific that I could ask them about. Because just, hey, how's it going? How was your weekend? Whatever. That doesn't make people want to respond, because what's in it for them? It's like an awkward conversation that they have to be engaged in with somebody that they know wants to sell them something. So that doesn't work for follow-ups. Anything else that you guys struggle with?
I would say too, like, about the whole messaging people thing. If I see them post something that's funny or anything, like a recipe or whatever, I go straight to their messages right away and I message them about it on the spot. And I'll be like, oh my God, that video just cracked me up. I'm dying. Like, so funny. Where did you find that?
Mm-hmm.
So that they get right back to you, because it's like just a really quick way. Like the, hey, how are you? Hey girl messages, just dead end streets. So getting to like the point and being like, I don't know, whatever. You guys are so funny.
I retired the hey girl messages.
Yeah. I could tell you I probably have like 20 sitting in my inbox of dead hey girl messages. So it's just going for the, and I, you know, a lot of, for people who are really shy to message people, you have to just get to commenting on people's stuff, because that neutralizes the lines of communication. You are saying, we're cool, I'm going to comment on your stuff, and then you can comment back on mine, and you're just neutralizing it, whatever. So when, you know, I use this example all the time, but when you're scrolling a news feed, you're constantly thinking like, love her hair, love her decor, that wine looks good, that meal looks amazing. Say it. Say what you're thinking. We mindlessly scroll so much, but like, if you think something's funny, say, oh my God, this is hysterical. Mm-hmm. Even if it's someone you've never talked to ever, because it's just like, bam, you're neutral. There's no weird vibes.
That's why interest lists are so important on your Facebook too, because a lot of times your newsfeed will get filled with coaches from your team. And so you're not seeing a ton of your potential target market. So if you create interest lists with, like, I probably have 35 to 40 people in my interest list with people that I either have talked to in the past, or people that I think would make great coaches or clients or something. Or if it's somebody that added me from Instagram and they got put into my free group, I'm going to add them to my interest list and things like that. So I can, then it becomes a mini newsfeed of the people you want on your team. Just make sure when you create it that only you sees it, because if you title it prospective coaches and clients and they know, they can see that they're in a like interest list, they're going to be like, ew.
Yeah.
So make sure it's private. The other thing that I hear a lot is people are like, okay, they told me that they get paid on the 26th and they're really excited for it. And then look at you counting money over there. What are you doing, Megan?
She's working retail.
That's funny. So what I tell people is, okay, awesome. Or if they say I just have to wait till payday, I ask them, okay, cool. When is that? I'm just going to make a little note to shoot you a reminder, and we can see if that's a good time for you. And they tell me the date, and I put them in their planner. And then I also put them, if it's like a week and a half from now, I also write their name in my planner like 5 days from now. So then I message them, like follow up with them, and I'm like, girl, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you to join our challenge group. One of my challengers just, wore her first pair of shorts in 3 years. I'm so excited for you to share these victories with us too. I was actually meal planning, and I came across this recipe, and it's boot camp approved, and I just wanted to share it with you because it looks really tasty. So, how are you doing? Are you still excited to join us? Something like that you're going to add value, share a recipe that took you 30 seconds to Google on Pinterest, and then kind of say something like maybe a success or something you're so excited for them, keeping them excited. Because if you don't talk to them for 12 days until payday, and then you're like, hey girl, how are you? They're going to be like, yeah, you knew it was payday and that's why you're messaging me. So, and I literally have messages where I used to do that. I would message people and be like, happy payday, girl. Are you ready to get started?
I'm pretty sure you did that to me.
Yeah, probably. And
but here I am.
Yeah. Outlier. Don't always work.
But
yeah, so just make sure that you're checking in with them. If they're interested in our saving, make sure that you get them into some type of free group in the meantime, and then follow up with them sometime in between, keeping them excited, because payday's going to come and they're going to have bills and they're going to have this and they're going to have that, and their 21-day fix is not going to be a priority unless you keep them in the loop. Another thing you can do is think about letting them be in on your challenge, and then say, okay, cool, I'll let you be in, and you can be in our challenge group, and then once you purchase, you'll officially be one of us. And if it doesn't happen for whatever reason, I just have to remove you. Or I can give you a 3-day sneak peek. And then, another thing Autumn does a week sneak peek in her challenge group, and that adds anybody, even if they haven't committed to anything. And that's a great way to get people involved too. But just making sure that you're following up with people, and write down every single new contact that you have in your planner, and write down every single person that you invite or follow up with, so that when time comes and times are slow, you can go back and look through your planner and say who hasn't bought, who hasn't responded, things like that. All right, anything else? I think we covered a lot of it. My bloggers are cracking me up. They're like fighting and battling back and forth. I'm like, just fight nice. I'm on a call. Thanks. So yeah, so I'll upload this and we can share it for new coaches. I just think that the best thing that you can do is also share your screenshots. So I'm gonna, and you probably, some of you have seen this already, but I'm just gonna show you. This is a great way to teach new coaches. Oh, I don't even know who this girl is, but here's a what not to do. Hey girl, so Mary Kay just came out with this amazing new mascara called Lash Intensity. It's just like this Too Faced mascara at Sephora, but so much cheaper. It makes your lashes super thick and adds so much length. I'm looking for 22 women. Why 22? You're so greedy.
Oh my God.
To treat themselves to it for only $18 plus tax. And for doing so, you get tons of free samples. What do you think? Will you help me reach my goal? Because I care about me and not you. And then, oh, this girl, I stopped talking to her in 2015 because she said she's working with the coach, and I was like, bye. I didn't even respond.
Oh my God, my jaw is like on the floor. Perfect example.
I had someone I'd been talking.
Oh, where'd you go?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
We hear you.
I had someone that I'd been talking to about a challenge pack, and I was going to follow up with her this month, and before I even could, she messaged me. She's like, oh my gosh, I wish you lived closer to me. And I'm like, why? And she's like, oh, well, because I just became a Mary Kay consultant, and I would love to give you a facial. And I'm like, dude, like, if you knew anything about what I told you before, like, I used to do Mary Kay. If you even remembered our conversation, and I failed epically, became a coach, started doing this, and I was just like, oh my God, like, you don't even, I don't know. But anyway, she's like,
in their facials. I don't want to.
but then she said, but this is the best part. She goes, I'm like, I said something, and I'm like, okay, so I'm assuming that the funds that, you know, you told me you were going to use to get the program or whatever went to Mary Kay. I mean, I didn't say it like that, but, you know, in a way. And she's like, oh no, I'm just doing this so that I can save up the money to then get the 21-day fix program. I'm like, did we not just like talk about coaching and like how that can help and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God, like sometimes you just want to like shake people.
Yep. But anyways.
Oh, but definitely what not to do right
Jan is Mary Kay. So if we're going to buy from anyone, we got to buy from Jan.
Jan.
My gosh. Anyway, yeah. What not to do, screenshot and put in my group.
I know. Okay. So in these photo albums, we've got coming out as a coach. So these are like new coach samples, and I put 2 of my new coaches in there, and I kind of pasted their words too, so you can see that. And I just updated this week. So if you have any new coaches that have great things, or you have anything, okay, apparently you can't rearrange that because I just tried to do that. Shakeology posts, I saw Sarah did one, so I copied hers and put hers in there. Debbie has some in there too. These are just so great because so much of being a new coach, you're just so confused where to start. So these are great to use. So challenge group post examples, we've got some in there. So yeah, so we have that too for help wanted, which is basically coach post. And then another thing that's really great is I have inviting people to coach and sample convos about products. And I just have a ton of screenshots in here. So feel free to add yours too. Don't think like, oh, it's April's group. The more that we can have in there, the better for coaches to see. And when I have a really great conversation, I usually like to try to either put it in there or just put it all into a Google Doc, and then you can put it under scripts in your Google Drive or our team Google Drive and stuff like that too. So if you have something that you're like, wow, that was really good, feel free to make it into a Google Drive or something, or a document in your team group, because that's the best thing you can do is create systems for your coaches. The worst thing that you can do is be me for the first 2 years of my business and focus on yourself and let your coaches try to figure it out. And if they're not as successful as you, they're lost. That's exactly how I was. I was literally a piece of crap. So in 2015, my biggest thing was focusing on systems. If I'm doing something, I want a new coach to be able to know exactly how I'm doing it. So that's why I'm creating templates if I make a free 5-day clean eating group. Don't you dare just put them straight into Buffer or just put them straight into your page. You need to put that into a document so your new coach doesn't have to go through all of that. So the best thing you can do is create systems. So yeah, let's see if there's anything I missed in the chat. Jan. Okay. So I think that's good. So I will upload this. The team call is already in the middle of uploading. And if you guys think of anything else, or if you think this was helpful, we can always, maybe make this a monthly thing or something like that. But I would say just try to focus on the objections that you get commonly with your team, and maybe make a document or something that's really easy. On my YouTube, I also have 6 60-second videos of how I battle objections with testimonials. So make sure you're always sharing testimonials too. So that's all I got, and I still haven't worked out. So I'm going to go do that at 9:30 at night. So thank you guys so much for hopping on. I hope this was helpful, and I'll share the recordings of everything tonight.
Later.